Thank you very much. Wow. Well, I want to thank you all very much. This is great. These are our friends. We have thousands of friends in this incredible movement.
America has made it clear what she wants, and what are you feeling?
It's really amazing to see. He not only won the presidential election, he was able to, the Republican Party was able to acquire both the Congress seats, the House of Representatives seats, the people's votes, the electoral votes. So they won all over the spectrum. And if you remember, we will discuss briefly later on regarding this, but if you remember yesterday, we were saying the deciding states are the swing states, like Philadelphia, which he also won.
Exactly.
So we will get to the numbers, but it's truly remarkable to see how much influence they were able to acquire in the past 2 years, because the campaign was running for about 2 years now.
Yes.
So it's really amazing to see.
Exactly, and I think Donald Trump, this 4 years for Donald Trump was, a lesson to see what the people actually want and how you can provide that need and create that supply for the demand. Before, when you see the campaigns that Donald Trump used to win the people over, and when you see the mechanisms that he used at this election, it's pretty different. The energy is different, the decision is different. You can actually sense the vibe that he's actually there to decide and actually there to make a difference. So I feel like, yes, congratulations actually.
Based on that, we can see what made this election different. What were the key deciding policies that influenced Trump to win? So what were the U.S. population focusing on, and what were the things that they were watching to help them decide on who will lead the country by 2025? So one of the biggest things were immigration, obviously. So we know what the stance of immigration is regarding Trump.
That's a very sensitive topic for a country like America.
Exactly. The second one is the economic factors, so groceries going up, gas going up, all these things going up was blamed on the Democrats because they were in power for the past 4 years, which they blame on the Republicans, which they received
the country
from before 4 years. So all this led up to him getting elected again. Above that, we mentioned yesterday the way the campaign was set up specifically on this year. It was more focused on the youth, especially on how Trump was pushing, and it also was focused on tax breaks. So he made two promises in his campaign regarding the tax breaks and what he's going to do. For example, one of the promises he made was no taxes on waitress wages, or no taxes from waitress tips. And the other was no taxes from welfare checks. These were very impactful things that favored the votes to his direction.
Exactly. I think something that I have understood is that the people living in America, Americans, do not hate giving for their country. Nobody does. We would love to give for our country, for the development, for the infrastructure that we want to see. But at the same time, especially within the past 4 years, America has been involving way too much on what's happening globally, on the, like global arenas, especially when it comes to war. So now the people here are having crisis in sustaining everyday, daily basis. And at the same time, from all the tax that they're being taxed and from all the payments they're paying for the government is spending twice or even more amount of money on wars, on weapons. So like the people are like, okay, I'm not here, I'm here, worried, stressed, financially unstable, and I'm still getting taxed while healthcare prices going up, and the government still funding, wars. Like, what's going on?
Exactly. That was one of the biggest conversations throughout this elections, because as we were able to witness in the past 4 years, the war in Gaza started, and also the war between Ukraine and Russia started. USA was giving heavy financial support to Ukraine,
Because they need, actually, you sometimes understand that politics is a very dirty game. Yeah. Sometimes you might be at some position that you will be doing some of the things that you will not accept as an individual, but for the sake of your country you would do it, because the major things in America, especially companies, corporates that control the economy of America, is controlled or owned by Jews or owned by the Israelis. So they need to keep them satisfied.
Exactly, I understand that. But the image or the illusion that was created in the United States of America was what you referred to earlier. United States is in a heavy economic depression in certain ways. If we look at the numbers, United States has the highest debt when we see it worldwide, when we compare it to other countries. Mm-hmm. The population was more disappointed to see, especially the Republicans were more disappointed to see that much money being invested in other countries' affairs rather than in...
When there are enough things that you could invest on.
Exactly, like infrastructure, healthcare,
education.
For the USA healthcare is one of the most expensive healthcares in the world. Yeah. And the insurances are very expensive. It was one of the biggest topics regarding throughout the whole debate.
So I was checking this news and I came across something that just surprised me, I can say. It says nearly half of voters, which means like over 45% of voters, are now currently financially unstable than they were 4 years ago. Can you imagine how cracking that is? Because exactly. Like 45, what does half 45 means? Like literally half of voters are still like fighting to be financially unstable. It's not something that they were before, but something that happened within the 4 years of the Democrats ruling.
It's really interesting. So let's get to the numbers.
Yes.
Because that will define
numbers are power.
How much influence they have currently. So just before we got to the studio, the live results were Trump is leading. When we think about things that influenced this election, we need to see the economic status of the lower class citizens of the United States of America. But we also have to understand one of the biggest factors were the economic status of the people, and you can see that through the result. More than 71 million people have already voted. More than 71 million people have directly voted for him.
Directly. They went there and chose Trump.
Exactly.
Can you imagine how persuasive you need to be?
Exactly.
Like you have convinced them. They're not like they know what they want.
They were able to flip most Democrat states to Republican states by this vote, by this election. Then that was not seen in recent years. Other than that, there was other elections that were being done together with this one. Mm. So there was the congressional election. Mm. There was the House of People Representative, which the Republicans have already acquired and is holding. So what does this mean? This means Trump has the support of the Congress and the House of People.
Like he's secured.
He is secured, and he can push the policies that he promised very easily. We can take the Obama administration as an example. He did not have the congressional seats. Mm. So every policy that he was trying to push
might not be able to be
disregarded by the Congress, because it was fairly a Republican Congress at the time. Mm. But now we have to see 3 points. One, this is Trump's last election. Mm. USA has a 2-term limit in presidential elections. So
he's going to give the best of himself.
He does not have to worry about the coming election. 2, he has the Congress and the House of Representatives by his side. The Republicans already have control of 49 seats. The Democrats has 47 seats, and there are 4 seats that are yet to be determined. So they have secured those seats. When we come to the Congress, the same thing. They have secured the Congress seats as well. Mm. So they have the Congress, they have the House of People Representative, they won the election. So it's going to be a fairly...
Yes, I think Yes, it's going to be really critical, especially what moves Donald Trump is going to take as a country, and the decisions he's going to decide, the change that he's going to implement. It's going to be really crucial because this is the last chance that he has to prove it that he actually wants the best for America. And then at the same time, I think there are some other things that makes this election a little bit different. Before I mention mine, is there anything else?
So one thing very unique and peculiar I was witnessing about this election, especially I was watching his victory speech that he just gave. He felt like, I haven't seen this character in him in the last election. He was giving things as a team. He was not taking the credit for himself. He was thinking the people around him.
The country that he's taking under his responsibility is not the country that there used to be 4 years, 5 years, 7 years ago. Now the people has changed, the problem has changed. They have gotten wider, deeper, you know. So he needs to make some change. He has to, as we have mentioned, as this is the last election that he will be elected and at the same time running as the president of the States. So I think we have to see, this is very critical because it was very controversial and very exciting to see this election because a lot of people thought Kamala would win because she had that support. At the same time, he still had that support, and it was kind of very tensed. And now when we see it, we can't help but ask, why didn't Kamala win? What was the thing that the Democrats missed that the Republicans actually really fulfilled for the people? I think we have to bring that idea.
So let's start from your view.
Oh, okay. What I have seen is that we have mentioned that the Americans are on the edge of cracking and losing it all. They have a lot of questions to ask that are not answered yet, and especially throughout the year that they have been ruled by the Democrats, the questions have got even worse, and they have diversified. So right now, they need that sense of community, that sense of nationalism, that sense of unity that they have lost through the Democrats somehow. And Trump was able to create that wave of unity among the people of America. So they have sensed that warmth, that magnitude, that we are actually here for each other. We have to do this for our country. So he was able to create that sense of nationalism that the people were seeking. They were unconsciously craving for that nationalism feeling. So he used that perfectly to fulfill and to keep the people hope high, so that they won't lose hope, so that they will still invest, pay tax, keep up with their country, promote their country. So I feel like that's a very critical, one of the critical things that the Republicans used.
I truly agree with that. From my point of view, some of the factors that contributed for the loss regarding the Democratic Party is, one, they focused on why you shouldn't vote for Trump rather than pushing and communicating the policies they were trying to implement.
True. That is so true, yeah.
So their whole movement was, if you vote for Trump, you are this. If you vote for Trump, you are that. Trump is like this.
That's like unconsciously saying, vote for him.
Yes. And they do not communicate any policy-based strategies. The second way is the way Kamala Harris came to be the president-elect. She was not the direct choice of many Democrats, but as we mentioned yesterday, when the Democratic Party nominates its presidential-elect, the whole democratic system the whole Democratic Party goes behind her and supports her. So they had to support her if she was elected once. So the final thing was the trust. So she was in power for the past 4 years. She was in the Oval Office right next to the president, influencing policies for the past 4 years. But yet ran her campaign saying, we will make the country better, we will make this happen. People started asking questions, but you were in power for the past 4 years.
Weren't you?
And why did you not do those things while you were in power? Yes, she might not have
that much power.
Yes, influence to push policies, but she could have done some things. The next thing that led to the fall of the Democratic Party was the way they used the media. Kamala's media presence was very low. She did some specific controlled interviews. I think you could tell that from her interviews that they were pre-planned, that she prepared the answers. When you come to Trump, you give him a mic and he stands there for 3 hours and speaks without a teleprompter.
Exactly. Speaking of because we were talking earlier, and I saw this interview Kamala Harris gave. This thing that Kamala Harris had with Oprah. And I was like, okay, interesting. I really wanted to see what she has to offer for the world and for Americans. And it was really good. I understood what she was trying to say, but then I feel like it was always running around the bush, you know? You don't actually say, this is the problem, this is what's happening, we're going to do this. And I felt like it was very blurry. And for some reasons, the questions that the audience asked, the way they interacted, felt very dramatic and very scripted, right? Exactly. So that's when I was like, okay, so this is just a way to buy time and stay in power. It's not something that they are actually to make change.
Exactly. So what this created, the other fact that, what this created, the other reason for her loss was it depicted her as a puppet. For other political figures to manipulate the system through her. So
she could have protected us. She could have
been more dominant.
Yes.
And honest and free on how she communicated with people. So this image was given that she is controlled by the deep state. There is this. So there is this understanding that. So they feel like she was controlled by the deep state, which is believed to be another part of government that is not known to the population, which controls and manipulates the political system of not only America, but the whole world.
That's a whole lot topic, yeah.
She is believed to be controlled by other figures, where Trump gives off the image where he and his cabinet makes the decisions, the policies, and how to implement it. There is, I don't think there is another president or leader who was crucified as much as Trump was, to be honest. You can mention him being indicted more than 1 time. When we take all this to account, one of the things everyone is excited to say is what Kamala's team will say. They have given an official response where she said they will hold back from any speech before a formal inauguration or a formal confirmation of who won. But yeah, overall, it was a good run for her. Yes. But obviously the Republicans have taken control of every aspect of the political system.
Again, the four years gap for Donald Trump and also for the Republicans gave them time to recharge themselves, see some things, and they knew how they would just penetrate into the heart of the people, you know? So like...
World leaders are passing their congratulations already, as you mentioned.
And starting from our country, Ethiopia, Prime Minister Dr. Abiy Ahmed congratulated Donald Trump and his team, the Republicans. To read what he said word by word, it says, he wrote this on his X account, "Congratulations to President Donald Trump on your election victory and comeback. I look forward to working together to further strengthen the relationship between our 2 countries during your team." And yes.
So this is an amazing opportunity for us as well. If we, like you said yesterday, if we adjust our policies based on who is in power. And tell us more of world leaders who congratulated him, please.
Okay, so the other countries, in fact, the first country that congratulated Donald Trump on his election as the president of the States is El Salvador president, the president of El Salvador. He said, congratulations, he was there. And he made sure to congratulate his partner. And also the Prime Minister of Israel congratulated Trump and his cabinet. It's just a lot of world leaders are now standing on the side of Donald Trump.
Exactly, because a lot of policies are going to change.
shift?
It's going to be a whole other thing, because the Republicans are key strategies for them not to contribute to wars or to contribute later. A lot of things are going to shift, especially for world leaders and how they communicate with Donald Trump, because he already kind of mentioned that he would stop the wars in Ukraine and Russia. It all depends on what kind of relationship they will be able to build with this team.
Exactly. You know, and the other thing is that this change, especially the change that will come, the policy change that will come after this election, will not only define the policies that America will have against or towards the relation that she will have with different states, but also the policies that you'll be having, because now things are going to be different. You need to know your approach with the states. Exactly. So you will also be changing some policies, adjusting some policies. So it's going to be a global issue for some reasons, a global, thing that will change a lot of things. So I think we have to wrap it up.
So when we talk about the congressional seats, the Republicans are currently holding 51 seats. They have gained 2 seats by this election, and the Democrats are holding 42, which they lost 2 seats by this election. So in addition to congressional elections and presidential elections, they also decided and casted their voice on 11 governors for 11 states, in addition to all of those different votes that they casted in the past days.
Yes, and other than that, as we all know, when we are trying to make change in one country, it's not only the president or those below or those in those power that can make change. Even though they can influence the policy and stuff, you need to go to the grassroots so that the change will be sustainable and it will have a very good foundation. And that's why within this election, it's not only the president that the Americans elected, but also the state and local offices has been elected too, meaning different mayors for different places, for different states has been also elected, which amazingly the Republicans are still leading in this election. So it's like they are just making sure that they have their print, they have their power and that strength down from the base, from the foundation.
They're winning across the board.
Exactly.
It's truly amazing to see.
It was a very, very extremely interesting election. We have said it yesterday, a lot of unexpected things happened. And I guess from now, things will start to settle more and we will see and we will have the image of the bigger picture so that we can know where America is heading, at the same time where we're going globally, because we are all connected at the end of the day, as states, as human beings.
We just wanted to give a short briefing regarding how it went. We did not get into the policies in details, which we will down the line, and we'll try to define each policies and each strategies that the new US government is taking, and try to see how it will affect policies in East Africa, Ethiopia, and the Horn of Africa, because it will directly impact us.
Yes, directly, indirectly.
Yes, for today, this is what I have prepared for us.
Thank you, though. Thank you so much. So, guys, we would love to tell us what you think about the election of the United States 2024. A lot of things happened, as we have said. Let us know what you guys have anything to add from the topics that we have discussed on our short SMS 6121. Thank you so much for watching. And as in for our digital media audiences, please feel free to share your ideas, your comments below this video so that we can interact with you guys. Again, thank you so much for watching. Until we see you guys next time, I guess it's time for us to say goodbye. America, congratulations.